Welcome to Trend Talk. My name is Eugene Osei Tutu. Today I'm here just to, set some facts on the claim that the NPP government never charged the betting tax. Now, before we go into that, yesterday was the budget day. The Finance Minister, Dr. Kesu Atuf-Banforsen, pursuant to Article 179 and 180 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Sections 21 and 23 of the PFM Act, that the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, presented the budget to Parliament. And it's not the budget of Atufos, it's the budget of the government led by John Dramani Mahama. Now, in presenting the budget, there's a very contentious narrative that was put out there, and I'm trying to understand it, so be with me on this journey. Now, when you go to the abridged version, the budget comes mostly in two versions. There's the statement that the finance minister presents to Parliament, then there's the full budget. The full budget is about 250 pages. The abridged version is less than that. Now, when you go to the abridged version, the statement, the one Atufos read to Parliament, the 141 reads, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, we abolish the 10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery, otherwise known as betting tax." Now, the confusion is that when the MPP's former finance minister, Dr. Amin Adam, was also addressing the public, he said that the MPP has never imposed the betting tax. I think that there's a confusion. This is why there's a confusion. When you go back as far as the 5th of June 2023, the GRA, which is the agency mandated to collect these taxes and revenues on behalf of the state, issue what they call a practice note. So they says practice notes on taxation of gross gaming revenue and winnings from lottery operations under the Income Tax Act, that is Act 896/2015 as amended. So basically the GRA was trying to give in a 7-page document, trying to explain the rationale, the terminologies, define the interpretations when it comes to these taxes that the government was trying to charge. Now, when you go to that and you read the section 3.0, it reads, "In this practice note, the word act means the Income Tax Act 2015, that is Act 896 as amended, unless the context otherwise requires. Definition and expressions used in this practice notes have the same meaning as they have in the Act and Revenue Administration Act." Now, the definition of the terms, it says that for purposes of this practice, lottery operations include 1. Sports betting, casinos, rotate operations, remote interactive games, marketing promotions, national lotto betting, private lotto betting, other games of chance. So, when you listen to what Dr. Amin Adam says and you listen to Atufos, I don't see a confusion, because it says that lotto operations include sporting betting. So let's go back to what Atufos said. That's the practice notes of the GRA. Atufos says, "We will abolish the 10% withholding tax on winnings from lottery, otherwise known as betting tax." So based on this and based on the practice note, I see he just repeating what is in the practice note. That is what I see it. But for layman argument, the betting tax you and I know is a betting tax that has been cancelled. Meaning that when you stake a bet and you win, what the betting company pays to you, first and foremost, they would have deducted the 10% charge before they give you that revenue. Now that has been taken away, and there's also a 10% withholding tax on lottery winnings, which is different from sports betting. But when you look at the definition from the GRA, as I said, defines lottery operations to include sports betting, casino, remote, national lottery. So it's just a matter of semantics, as you can clearly see. It's just English and how the above using different terminologies to arrive at the same conclusion. But the simple understanding I can give you on the trends is that bet na wa wunim se utwa yeto no sa bet tax no abanya ye free. That is the basic understanding I can give you. Now, that aside, when you also go to the budget, you notice something. When you go to the MDA allocation, that is the Appendix 4A of the budget. You notice that in 2024 they were allocated 11.1 billion cedis. This year they are being allocated 11.3 billion. So the NDC government, though they say they are running a lean government, has increased the budget. It will be interesting to know the breakdown. But what I can tell you also that when you go to the Office of Government Machine in 2024, it was some 2 billion. This year is some 3.8 billion. Also, there need to be some explanation why these budget allocations are coming from. But someone will also tell you that the information ministry, as you know, has been moved to the presidency now. Now the government has also committed some 292.4 million to provide sanitary pads for young girls in basic and senior high schools. You remember that when you read the 26-point agenda under John Mohammed's 120-day promise to Ghanaians, they did provide that they will provide sanitary pad for girls in various schools, and now the clarification is here is basic and also senior high school, so the universities are not part. Also, the no academic user fee, which is supposed to pay the first year fees for all tertiary institutions. That is the language of the budget. So meaning teacher training colleges, the colleges of education, universities, technical universities and all that. The budget allocation has been done. It's over 400 million cedis. Also, the government has committed together some 683 million cedis to pay teacher and nursing trainee allowances, which I deem very wasteful. I believe that this money can't go to show up the student loan trust, because it's not only teacher trainee and nursing trainee and trainees who need some bailouts when it comes to paying their fees and feeding. There are many people in Kenya, in Legon, who are also from extremely poor backgrounds, and therefore coming from extreme poor background is not a preserve of only the teacher and nursing training institutions. The government has also made provision for the National Apprenticeship Program, the Jumara Program, and also the Coders Program, which is aimed at shoring up the digital skills of the Ghanaian youth, also the skill set of Ghanaian youth to learn apprenticeship in various models of skill like plumbing, like sewing, and all the other apprenticeship programs. Also in the budget, the finance minister did indicate that there will be some consolidation when it comes to some agencies and expenditure. He mentioned that there are some 55 projects, including the KJTR market phase 2, which has a deficit of about 64 billion, and meaning that this project will halt, and if they have to find money to do it based on the trajectory and the numbers he's saying, it will take about 12 years, and therefore he's in talks with the IMF to see how that can be done. Also, the budget for the free SHS has been increased from about 2.4 billion cedis to about 3.5 billion. That's about 30% increment in the budget. So the education budget currently has the biggest threshold. We are spending about let me get the exact figure, for about 37.2 billion. So that is the biggest ministry you have now when it comes to expenditure, 37.2 billion on the education of our country. And also now the capitation grant, that means that the amount the government pays per day for a child to be fed, it was 90 pesos, it was increased to 1 cedi, 20 pesos. Now it's been also increased to 2 Ghana cedis. But all of these are allocations. So the difference is that this is what the minister intends to give out to the various sectors and agencies. The actual allocation will be done when they do the appropriations. Appropriations is when Parliament will also go through the motions and approve these estimates for the various MDAs. And if I say MDAs, these are the ministries, departments, and agencies. Now it is incumbent on the finance ministry to find these sums and allocate them as appropriated by Parliament. So yes, a ministry may be given 1 cedi, but at the end of the day, they only have 40 pesos. So these sums, or these are some of the education I want to give you. Now, generally, when you look at the budget also, we are supposed to collect. I've told you that 2024 we collected some 153.5 billion cedis in revenue, and we spent almost 280 billion. This year, the government says that it's estimating to collect, that is revenue and grant, about 223.8 billion, and also to spend some 269.1 billion. So already we have a deficit of over 40 billion, and that is why I always say that our budget is largely about fiscal consolidation. And as I told you the last time, it's about revenue, it's about expenditure, and how frugal we can be so that our expenditure will find itself in the same space as our revenue. Based on this budget, there's a deficit of 40 billion. Already ECG has a debt in excess of what, 30 billion. Cocoa Board has a debt of about 30 billion, 32 billion. This is dollars. The minister says that some project that he has met arrears to be paid is about 67 billion. The Bank of Ghana also need capitalization of about 53 billion. So clearly, you can clearly see that it's a very, very tough year. But he also did promise that those whose debts were restructured as part of the debt restructuring program of the NPP, and that is due in somewhere May, will receive their money, and also those due in August will receive their money because they've made some provisions for that. And now also on the free SHS, you remember during the campaign period, the NDC did promise that they will find dedicated funding source for the free SHS. That I didn't see in the budget. They are still funded it from the ABFA fund, which is the oil proceeds, as you know. And the reason why that is shaky is because oil is finite and volatile. What do I mean? Oil is a resource that can finish. In simple terms, volatile means that the price volatility on the world market can make it fluctuate downwards or hike as and when. So it's not something that you can really predict the sector. And also they've uncapped the get fund. What does it mean that get fund has been uncapped? So for example, if get fund was supposed to accrue say 100 cedis under Keno Foriata, they say that don't give them the entire 100 cedis, give them 70 cedis and use 30 cedis for other things. Now under Atuforsen and the Mahama regime, now they are saying that get fund has been uncapped, meaning that get fund will receive more money, and therefore that will also support free SHS, and that is why they've been able to increase the free SHS budget for about 30%. I'm also told, and when you read the budget confidently, that the NHIS has also been uncapped, which is the fund, so meaning that NHIS and Get Fund has all been uncapped, and they receive the full accruals that is due them so that they can be able to run their operations. So see, these are some of the highlights I picked from the budget, and this is what I try to explain about the confusion of whether the NPP did charge the betting tax or not. This has been The Trends. My name is Eugene Osei Tutu. Catch you another time. Subscribe to our channel for us and take care of yourself. Bye.